Eddie, Canelo was asked about reparation, his relationship with Oscar De La Hoya. He said he wishes him well, but he doesn't like the vibes from Oscar De La Hoya. What do you think about that? And do you think that relationship can be mended in the future?
No, never. Not the conversations I've had.
Why is that?
Well, because obviously what happened between them is very personal, isn't it? You know, I don't. The way I know Canelo Alvarez, I don't really see him having grudges against people, but he doesn't want to entertain any conversation about Oscar De La Hoya. So, you know, that's the past, and I'm sure something's gone on that he wasn't very happy about.
When it comes to the conversation regarding David Benavidez, he said that, look, if that fight's going to happen, it's a lose-lose for him because he dictates the shots, and his shots, one of the shots that he wants is maybe a rehydration clause, but he feels they wouldn't get the credit if he put that in. I
understand that. Like, basically what he means by that is, it's the same thing about doing Bivol at 168. If he beats him at 168, everyone says, yeah, but you made him come down at 68. So when you fight Benavidez, if you don't put a hydration clause in, he's going to rehydrate 28 pound. And if you do, everyone's going to say, oh, you made him rehydrate and he wasn't the same. It's like when Ryan Garcia fought Tank. Nothing to do with the rehydration clause, just got beat. But, you know, I know what he meant, but David Benavidez is a good fighter. He was at our show last week, enjoyed himself. And I'm sure it'll happen in the future.
Did you catch the Tyson Fury press conference from the images? He looked very lean. Do you think a lean Fury beats Usyk?
I think he has to be lean. He has to be sharp. You know, Usyk's got great movement. He's a great fighter. And Tyson's got to be in the physical condition of his life to win that fight.
Aaron McGregor made comments. He said that he believes that Tyson Fury isn't elite, but judging by his record, he's only beaten one great fighter in the form of Vladimir Klitschko. Wilder isn't one of those. Great punch, but not a great fighter. Agree?
I mean, I have said this in the past. I do think the 3 Wilder wins, I know one was a draw, but really he won the fight, I mean, were impressive. The Klitschko win was amazing. But beyond that, I've always said I felt AJ's got a better resume. But listen, he's fighting for undisputed on May the 18th. If he wins that fight, he's the best of the generation.
Did you see Porter getting grief about Naoya Inoue having to come over to America to prove his legacy?
Like Americans sometimes think that you have to go to America to, like, really, you have to go to the place where you're the biggest draw and make the most amount of money. And for Naoya Inoue, that's Japan. So, but I do understand the attraction of fighting in America, and I do think it has value as well. Last one.
Very lastly, yeah. And you see the Wilder training footage? It almost looks like he's training for an upcoming fight, Eddie, on the 5v5.
Apparently, you know, I mean, if Deontay Wilder represents Matchroom, I'd be shocked, but it would be an honour.
Cheers, Ed.
Eddie, Warrington and Wood got into it ringside.
Yeah.
Very, very tasty. Everyone wants to see that rematch. It's obviously stalling for certain reasons. Do you think that happens this year?
Hopefully. You know, we've got a fight lined up for Josh, but that's the fight I want, really, the Lee Wood fight. I think it makes sense. You know, a lot of those guys want more money, but we'll have to see.
When stuff like that happens on a fight night, it's gold dust for you.
Yeah,
it's the promo. You can use it in the trailer for the fight.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'll show you in a minute.
Okay. Maybe I'll catch it on the way home. But, but yeah, look, I think you know that is the fight to make, in my opinion.
And obviously the 5 versus 5, you're going to think this is a very greedy question from me. It's getting announced on Monday. That's in Saudi Arabia. But obviously I've seen rumours online about a follow-up card, potentially at Wembley in September, another 5 versus 5 card. Is that true? Do you have a date penciled in for Wembley later in the year?
Let's get the first 5v5 out of the way first.
That was a very Frank Warren answer.
Was it? I'm learning, obviously.
Eddie, obviously social media went into meltdown with the announcement of Jerome Ennis signing with yourselves. Any other big sort of stateside stars?
Yeah, loads. I mean, we're talking to 3 or 4 other fighters right now. I said pound for pound top 10. Yeah, top 10, top 12. But we can't just take fighters on and then get in a situation where we haven't got the dates to deliver. So we want to sign the right fighters. I feel like the Ennis signing was a massive signing and it's gone down so well. And looking forward to putting the plans in place for his first fight.
David Morrell, one of those names?
No.
Just on tonight, obviously big win for Zelfa Barrett. How confident are you it's going to be a world title shot next for Zelfa?
You never know. I think he deserves it. It's never guaranteed unless it's a mandatory, which it's not. But I'd like to try and find a way to make it happen. I'll do everything I can.
And when are we going to get an update on Conor Ben? Any news?
No, waiting. Very frustrating, as you haven't heard any news from anybody. But hopefully it's imminent.
Cheers up.
All right, cheers, boys. Thank you.
Rematch in 5v5 tomorrow. Excited to kind of get the ball rolling on that one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, it's hard to keep certain fights out of the grasp of the media. But there's going to be a hell of an announcement on Monday. I think the best card I've ever seen from top to bottom. Like with the Bivol Beterbiev fight, 6 complete 50-50 matchups, and that's exactly what we want.
Definitely my final one as well. Peter McGrail, obviously replacement opponent. Mark Leach comes in. I mean, doesn't get his revenge opportunity, but also a tricky fight for Peter McGrail.
I think so. I'm glad he took it. I mean, all of a sudden, obviously you've got the narrative of a rematch, but now you've got Liverpool against Manchester eliminated for the British title as well. It's actually a good fight, but it's a must-win for Peter McGrail. And like you said, the style is difficult to overcome. Let's see if he can do it.
Cheers, Eddie.
Cheers.
Question for Eddie. In terms of a potential world title shot, on the basis that you would think Joe Cordina, as a fellow Matchroom fighter, would be most likely, though he hasn't seemed particularly keen on fighting Zelfa in the past, would you say that's still a fight that's most likely in terms of a world title shot?
Yeah, I think any domestic fight for a world title always makes sense. Joe's obviously wants to unify. He may even move up to 35 at some point. He's got a mandatory coming up against Sugar Nunes. We have spoken to Lamont Roach as well, which I know is a fight that Zelfa really fancies as well. Could be in America, could be back here in Manchester. You've got Oshaki Foster, you've got Valdez. I think the two obvious ones are Cordina and Lamont Roach. And obviously now he'll be highly ranked with the WBA. And we want to get him a shot for a load of money, if possible in Manchester. But if we have to go to America for it, no problem as well. But, I think let's see what happens on May the 18th with Kakachi and Cordina, and we'll work behind the scenes with Lamont Roach as well.
Zelfa, is Cordina the fight that you want the most? Because I know we spoke about it in the build-up to this, and you spoke about it for a long time. Is that something that you would love to push Eddie towards?
Of course, man. Both Matchroom fighters. He's a good fighter, I'm a good fighter. Similar styles. That'd be a serious fight, but I understand the situation. He's a world champion. He wants to look after his family now. I get it. I totally get his position. He's worked all his life to get to where he is now. Now he wants to get paid, so I understand it. So I'm just ready for anything. If Eddie says this guy, then it's this guy. If Eddie says that guy, it's that guy. It is what it is.